Hi, my name's Alex Wilcox, and this is Hill Farm at Stowbridge near Kings Lynn, and we currently farm just over 500 acres of combinable crops with sugar beet. The soil type is a silty clay loam, and the rotation is based around oilseed rape, beans, sugar beet, winter wheat and spring malting barley. The yield was 12.2 tonnes a hectare of Crusoe, and the protein was just over 13.1%. Really pleased with that. We aim for a market which is 76 bushel weight, 250 Hagberg and over 13% protein. And yeah, this year we hit it really well. The Zayat that we grow on the other half of the farm, some of the proteins were lower, but we come to expect that. Hence the reason why we grow Crusoe, because it's always got a better protein. However, in a wet year it can suffer with it losing its Hagberg more rapidly. All the Crusoe was sold through Gleddles, and I think the homes we went to was mainly Ranks at Peterborough and Whitworth at Wellingborough. The entry for this year was a Crusoe variety of winter wheat, which was drilled on some silty clay loam soils, later drilled due to blackgrass, and it was drilled in late October at 350 seeds a metre. We have a flexible cultivation system which does involve ploughing at certain years and mainly non-inversion tillage. This year it was the first year for that crop. It was ploughed for the first time in 5 years with a 12-inch furrow reversible plough. We have a lot of attention to the skim setting and the forward speed because we have blackgrass on the farm, and actually ploughed really well, and that allowed us to delay the drilling because it made the field weatherproof. And it was worked down with a Pottinger Terradisc and then Vardostat drilled. We've sort of tinkered with the nitrogen to try and get the quality of the wheat for the end markets up to 13%. So this year, for the second year, we've ran with a later application of prilled nitrogen to get the total up to about 220 kilos. And that was also combined with an application of Nitamin, which is like a liquid nitrate form of nitrogen mixed in with the ear wash at 10 litres. And the results we've had seem to have worked really well. We aim to put on between 60 and 70 kilos as SO3. T0 and T1 will split an application of phosphite to get on between 0.8 and 1 litre of phosphite in the form of force, and then 3 or 4 applications of nitrate manzai, which is a magnesium, manganese and zinc in nitrate formulation, and very tank mixable and kind. We'll use that as well, mixed in with the fungicides in the spring. We'll look to get some CTL on. We always use triazoles in mixture as well, and it's based around an Amistar Opti and Cherokee T0 T1 with a Xemium Metcon Opus T2, and we save the tebuconazole and prothioconazole for the T3 ear wash, as we find that's the best place for that. This year was a easy harvest. Sometimes in the fen the crops do hang on and you're struggling to get started with it. As it was this year, the temperature came hot. It obviously had been dry anyway, and it went very smoothly, and we're really pleased with it.
Hi, I'm Sam Markilly, farm at Trinity Hall Farm, Wisbeach, Cambridgeshire. Our farming background, we're about 1,000 hectares of FBT and family owned. We grow oilseed rape, winter wheat, spring beans, sugar beets and a small acreage of potatoes. The majority of the farm is heavy silty clay loam with probably about 30% grade 1 silt. My yen entry this year was KWS Zayat for the Group 1 milling market, obviously. Cultivations for the yen entry this year was our ex-bean land, so it was carriered twice, V-formed and then drilled. My nitrogen program for my yen entry this year was 2 applications of NitroFlow 20 plus S, the first one being 240 litres a hectare or 60 kilograms a hectare of N. Second application was 80 kilograms of N. Both done middle of March and then the end of March, followed by solid AN Extran at 230 kilograms a hectare or 76 kilograms a hectare of N. The final application of the solid was at 70 kilograms of N a hectare. Then we use a long-chained polymer urea in with the tank mix with T2 and T3, both at 20 litres. So giving a total N of 300 kilograms a hectare. The sulphur goes in on the first two with the liquid, giving a total of actually slightly higher than I probably prefer, but 80 kilograms a hectare. Our yen entry had a standard 4-spray program at normal timings, T0, fairly early on, and we had problems with yellow rust at the beginning, and then all your usual villains, but it was a very low disease pressure year, but it's insurance policy. We had a very trouble-free early harvest, 25th of July, hassle-free, dry, 13% I think on average.
I'm Richard Carr of Loring Hall Farm at Latchenden, down on the Dengie Peninsula in East Essex. I farm 205 hectares, 185 hectares of arable, which is 50% winter wheat, and then also grow winter beans, linseed, lucerne, oats and oilseed rape. The farm's been growing winter wheat for probably hundreds of years. Recent years we've been growing about 50% of winter wheat with break crops, because black grass is a problem in our area, so break crops with lucerne and either winter beans or linseed also help to break that cycle. Last year we grew, I've been growing Crusoe for many years, but we had 24 hectares of Crusoe. That was the first wheat after linseed, and it always does us very well, good proteins, and it's normally sold through Dengie Crops as a merchant, and it goes into local markets, normally somewhere like Marriages. The yen entry field was, like I said, after linseed. We had about 5 tonne a hectare of poultry manure, which was then incorporated, and then it was subsoiled with low disturbance legs, and then we created a seed bed, left it stale seed bed on the press, and then it was drilled the first week of October, which is our sort of normal drilling window, and it was a bit slow coming up because of the dry autumn, but it all got established by sort of mid-November, and had the pre-ems on it for blackgrass, and then we just left it for the winter. First application was a nitram, followed by the second application of ammonium sulphate, which was about 3 weeks later, and then we went in with a main dose of nitram, followed by a 4th dose of liquid 29N, and then at milky cheesy ripe we put the profile on for protein. Total nitrogen was about 180 kilos a hectare, and then we also, because we had the chicken muck on top of that, which is a bit of unknown, but yeah, we do take that into our calculations. First of all, we started off with the autumn herbicides for blackgrass, Aberdex and Crystal, and then we didn't need any more herbicides, but in the spring we started off with the T1, which was Aviator and chlorfenil, then T1.5, which was Alto Elite, and then the T2, which was Adexar and chlorfenil and Amistar, and then the T3 was just Proline and tebuconazole and a little bit more Amistar because of the brown rust risk with Crusoe. This year, because of the dry summer, the crops just senesced very quickly, and we harvested it on the 20th of July, and with moistures of around about the 14%, so it went straight into store and just been cooled, which just made it very easy for 2018 harvest.